Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shafaq Fawzal Azim and I welcome you to PICG's Investor Education Series. In this module, we will look to understand overall corporate governance structures, describe the board's governance roles and responsibilities in terms of internationally accepted principles and local law, and also define the role of the chairman and CEO. So who manages the company and who are its stakeholders? And what are these various stakeholders accountable for? To understand this, we must review the overall governance structure of an organization and what this entails. So shareholders are the most powerful body in a listed company as they are its ultimate owners. They elect the board of directors to provide direction and oversight over the affairs of the company, and the board is therefore accountable for the overall company performance. Once appointed, the board elects a chairperson amongst themselves to guide the overall function and performance of the board. This board then appoints a chief executive officer to run the affairs of the company on a day-to-day basis. In effect, the CEO will report back to the board and the board of directors to the shareholders. This structure means that the will of the shareholders is reflected in the company's strategic direction, crucial decisions, and appointments. Here we have a handy guide to understand what the board is supposed to do. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development's OECD Principles of Corporate Governance, the board has a duty to its shareholders towards determining and evolving a strategy, making major decisions, overseeing risk management, budgets and plans, and the performance criteria of the board, the CEO, and the management, and of course overseeing corporate performance and major capital decisions. The board of directors is like the guiding hand for a company. They make sure that everything is running smoothly and ethically according to the rules and standards laid out in the law. In this case, we are referring to sections 183 and 204 of the Companies Act 2017. One of the main objectives of the board is to adopt and monitor good corporate governance practices. Corporate governance is all about making sure the company is managed in a way that's responsible, transparent, and fair. The board has to ensure that these practices are not just on paper, but are actually effectively applied. The board also needs to maintain high ethical standards, meaning they must act with integrity and honesty in all their decisions and actions, and it's their duty to set the tone at the top, leading by example. To do this, the board sets up policies to identify, assess, and manage their risks, and at least once a year, they should do a thorough review of the company's business risks to help ensure that the company's management has a solid system in place to keep track of these risks and is able to control and mitigate them. By doing this, the board helps protect the company's assets, reputation, and the interest of both the company and its stakeholders. Here is an overview of the responsibilities, powers, and functions of a board. One of the key functions is to develop the company's purpose, mission, and values, to guide strategy, oversee management, monitor good corporate governance practices, as I mentioned earlier, ensure compliance with all regulatory provisions, ensure that controls are in place, oversee disclosure and communications with stakeholders, and protect shareholders' rights. Considering the overall structure of a company and the effective functioning of the board itself, the chairperson and chief executive officer play vital roles. Since the board elects the chairperson and appoints the CEO, it is useful to explore their respective scope of functions. The chairperson steers the board, ensures its effective functioning and development, ensures a cordial boardroom environment in which the views of all directors are heard, and ensures key matters are prioritized as needed. The CEO, on the other hand, works under the guidance of the chairperson and implements the goals and directions set by the board to run the company in accordance with the strategic plan and approved budget. The CEO also nurtures relationships with stakeholders and constantly manages the resources of the company. We hope you have found this module helpful in providing an overview of the company's corporate governance structure. We will be covering more detail on roles and responsibilities of directors and recommended board structure in other modules. Thank you for joining us.